Please welcome today's presenters, two KCP professionals, Bill Triolo, Business Development Manager, and Mike Happel, Associate Director, CI Engagement, Procurement Infrastructure. Please begin.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bill Triolo. I'm what's called a Business Development Manager for Kimberly-Clark, and basically it's a sales role. I've been with Kimberly-Clark for almost 29 years now, and always in a sales capacity. So I've been out on a lot of sales calls, and I've seen a lot of things. And today we want to share with you some different things that we've seen while we were out in the field to work towards improvement. Our goal today is to help you make improvements within your facilities in areas that you may not see or may traditionally not think about. And when I say improvements, I'm referring to things that can help you reduce your costs as well as risks within your facility. Over the year, in our hazard walks, we've seen some great innovative work being done by manufacturing professionals in world-class operations, some which may be very similar to yours. We've helped them to spot things that were costing them a lot of money, putting their workforce at potential risk, or quite frankly, both. So we've gathered our top 10 ways in which industrial supplies can be costing you a lot of money and are going to share them with you today. As we go through the list and share a couple of scenarios, compare what you are hearing to the practices you use today and think about how this may be able to help you. This is designed to help you understand what to look for, to spot hidden opportunities for cost savings, and to help reduce risks, as well as understand how KC and MSC can come in to work with you to help you on this journey. So at the end of the session, there is going to be time for you to ask some questions or bring up some examples for discussions or comments. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mike Happel and ask Mike to share with you what we found to be the 10 ways in which wrong industrial supplies waste money. Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Before we start, I would like to give you just a little background on who I am. So I've worked at Kimberly-Clark for over 20 years. I've spent 8 years in a variety of manufacturing and engineering roles globally, 6 years driving innovation for our industrial safety business, many of which products we're going to talk about today, 3 years leading our continuous improvement team, and then my last 3 years have been developing our supplier relationship program here at Kimberly-Clark. I'm a Six Sigma Black Belt and I'm focused a lot on lean manufacturing practices that have drove inefficiencies out of our manufacturing facilities, as well as inefficiencies within project management. Throughout my career, I've also had a lot of passion for safety opportunities within our facility, from simple assessments on which eyewear need to be used to more complex rollouts of what machine guarding needs to look like. And then lastly, I have a personal challenge to myself that every facility that I visit, whether a supplier or Kimberly-Clark internally, excuse me, I want to make better in either safety or productivity. I'm very excited to be able to talk with you a little bit today about some of these themes in the workplace that we have here at KC have found and ideas that we have been able to drive with customers. So we're going to focus on 10 different themes. So for the first theme, or the 10th theme that we're going to talk about, we're focusing on not knowing exactly what's touching your process and how that can be damaging as you're using the wrong tools or equipment. We worked with an automotive manufacturing customer that was scrapping a large proportion of products each month due to watermark defects. They were using pre-impregnated wipers containing isopropyl alcohol, or IPA, and they were using that to clean most of the parts. But workers then added a different solvent to the container to prepare parts for painting, which then created new watermarks. What we found was the chemical solution that was being used to prevent the watermarks was actually causing them when combined with the IPA-infused wiper. We worked with the team to create better visual management on containers for solvents and knowledge of chemical compatibility with the wiping materials. This ultimately led to a 94% reduction in paint defects, along with reduced chemical and wiper costs within the facility. The next one I'd like to share really starts with a question, and it's, are you holding your workers back with the PPE options that are not fit for the tasks they're performing? We worked with a particular organization that issued leather gloves for protection. but didn't take into account the lack of dexterity and discomfort involved in using those leather gloves. The gloves were too bulky for the detailed work. They were also very heavy and caused fatigue over time. Some of the insights that we found are gloves are a critical component of the worker's PPE, our personal protective equipment. But if they can't wear them throughout a task, they will waste time removing and replacing them. Or worse, they won't bother to put them back on for the short task and use them. So what solution we found was working with some cut-resistant gloves that provided the needed dexterity and protection in very lightweight materials for extended use and comfort, providing the right safety measures needed for the job. My experience has me to ask, what really is happening on the shop floor? Workarounds may be a symptom that the PPE is not fit for the task and that workers may be compromising safety to get the job done, which in no case we want to have happen. Coming in at number 8, the theme, they said a bad worker always blames their tools, but the question should be, are their tools really at fault? This manufacturer had issues with using cloth rags in the production process. The consumption, variable quality, and use, and lack of adherence to waste disposal procedures caused issues across their entire manufacturing environment. Cloth rags had been the norm in their production environment. It had not occurred to them that there was another option. What we found and worked with them on was reusable cloths can have an impact on the environment, especially when a lot of them end up being thrown away, unused due to poor quality or inadequate sizing. A low-quality cloth rag may actually create defect issues due to contamination. Finally, it can take up a lot of volume in the stockroom and in the landfill, when it is eventually thrown away. The solution was replacing cloth towels with disposable wipers, provided workers with a clean, high-quality towel to use in the cleaning and prep processes. The number of disposable towels was actually lower than the cloth rags in this particular situation, leading to a significantly lower volume. By getting the right wiper for the task at hand, the customer saw an 88% reduction in disposal costs due to reduced wiper volume and the elimination of unusable wipers. I would like to now hand it over to Bill to further dive into a recent case study.
Thanks, Mike. And those are 3 great examples so far. But the one that really rings a bell to me and kind of hits home is the last one you talked about. After taking a hazard walk at a metal manufacturer here in North America, one of our sales reps noticed that they were using rags. So the KC sales professional recommended our Wipe-All X70 wiper as a countermeasure to the box of rags. After setting up a trial utilizing our 60-20 guarantee and some worker education, they were able to impact their environmental KPIs and see some significant savings. Their overall cost was about a 26% savings, reducing the landfill waste by about 92%. And because you weren't dealing with those large 25-pound boxes, their storage need was reduced by 68%, giving them more room to house or supply more critical supplies. So what do you have for number 7 for us, Mike?
Yeah, sorry. Problems advancing the slide. So a few extra steps daily can be great for improving your personal health, but not for improving the efficiency within your manufacturing facility. As we've learned, every step counts. If a worker spends up to 10 minutes per shift retrieving supplies, then that is 10 minutes of wasted labor. Supplies that are not in portable dispensers or packages that can be placed at point of use, eliminating wasted motion as well as the risk of slips, trips, and falls. Time analysis and spaghetti diagrams are great tools to quickly understand where the wasted movement can be found in your process. We were able to look at the environment and proposed the utilization of dispensing boxes for wipers at the point of use, which minimized the steps and increased team member efficiency in this particular example. A key learning here for the safety manager was how fast they went from 0 to hero within their facility. He won praise with the team at the facility for reducing the risk of injury and at the same time helping the people to work smarter. Coming in at number 6, managers can't control how much sleep a worker gets, but fatigue has a very real effect on productivity and safety within the facility. We shouldn't assume that fatigue does not affect efficiency goals or that there is nothing that can be done about it. The insight was noise, heat, and repetitive tasks are listed as some of the top leading indicators for worker fatigue. It is important to provide the correct PPE and other engineered design solutions that can lessen the impact of such factors on the employee. The solution: ask workers questions about their fatigue levels throughout specific tasks. Identify and trial new PPE options to potentially mitigate some of those factors related to worker comfort. So when we ask the question, how much does fatigue cost you? Studies have indicated that nearly 40% of workers admit to being fatigued at work, which results in approximately $136 billion of lost productivity annually. Switching to more appropriate sizes can save money as well as improve worker comfort. I would like to now hand it off to Bill for a further case study.
Thanks, Mike. And before we move on, let's take a look at my second and final study for this presentation. This example took us to a global engine manufacturer. We were able to reduce their inventory costs on PPE suits by 21%. And this is what was going on there. Because the suits were not fitting them correctly, the workers were using suits that were 1 to 2 sizes larger. Well, when you use a larger size suit, you end up with a higher cost and an increased likelihood of rip-outs, thus increasing their PPE spend. So again, our KC sales professional was able to introduce CleanGuard's A45 coverall, which has something called the reflex design. And this design allows for more room in all the right areas of the suit. It gives you a 6% longer body length without increasing the size of the rest of the garment, and it gives you 12% more room in the chest. This gives the worker the added range of motion that they need. So this countermeasure that we were able to offer provided a significant reduction in the cost to the customer. Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to jump back to number 5. I just realized I skipped over it, so that was my fault. And this really talks about the worker comfort that Bill just talked about. Workers need to be comfortable and safe. If they aren't comfortable, they may compromise their safety to make their PPE more bearable. Throughout my career, I've seen many modifications that may have increased employee comfort level, but really compromise their safety in doing the specific task. For example, there are some tasks that involve overhead work and reaching across large surface areas. If the apparel is too small, it will rip out in binding areas such as under the arms and in the crotch area. Workers will want bigger, though incorrect, sizing to prevent rips. It's a nice idea to have, but the extra bulkiness of the material compromises the motion and can create some real safety issues, such as potential trip hazards if the legs are too long, especially if they're not elasticized at the ankle. Workers may purposely tear their garments to increase comfort and flexibility. This results in sacrificing personal protection for comfort. PPE needs to be evaluated for comfort and usability, as well as for the safe completion of the task. What the solution is here is suits are breathable and include stretch material in those areas that tend to rip due to reaching. One size fits all it doesn't work. Some manufacturers charge extra for larger size, but in the long run, switching to more appropriate sizes can save the money and improve the worker comfort. Coming in at number 4, in an ideal world, workers could complete a task without removing or replacing safety equipment. By altering one element, this company achieved the ideal state. The problem was their welding helmets. Welders often have to remove their helmets or push it up onto the top of their head to read or complete a task that doesn't require the visor. The only way to put the helmet back into position involves nodding the head forward or redonning it. This was the only solution for many years. The insight: if the helmet can be used for multiple tasks in both light and dark environments and doesn't strain the worker to remove it, they save time and avoid potential injury. What can be done is the utilization of a welding helmet with an auto darkening filter, or ADF, for continuous wear. automatically changing from light to dark state. In one particular example that we worked on, the customer was able to get 16 minutes more production on a daily basis. What does this mean? Time is money. On an average, 3% of the welder's day is spent lifting and or nodding his head, his or her helmet. Giving them the tools that avoid this step is definitely a win. Coming in at number 3 is keep your chemicals safe and your workers even safer. You know there's something to be concerned about when chemical storage is fireproof, but the working environment is one big heat hazard. We all know that aerosol cans can explode due to heat, but no one wants that to happen in their workplace. In an observed case that we saw, aerosol cans were properly stored in a separate fire-safe cabinet, but their usage during production was in a close proximity to the machines that produced a lot of heat. The insight that we found was during the hazard and waste walk, we flagged this as a major risk that simply hadn't been considered because their overnight storage was up to code. The solution is we switched from aerosol to pre-saturated wipers, preventing the hazards of the containers itself self-combusting. It's important to remember to always use and store flammables in accordance with the local regulations. Aerosols can explode at relatively low ambient temperatures, just 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So the risk is very real and doesn't require extreme temperatures to pose a significant safety hazard at work. Coming in at number 2, when something isn't working, find out why, and keep asking why until you know you've reached the root cause. As leaders, we have to be accountable for our teams and set the example. An aviation manufacturing company that we worked with found that they were going through an unusual volume of safety glasses. The safety manager assumed people were simply careless, or the glasses were made of poor quality. Through the utilization of problem solving, it was important for us to keep asking why. The health and safety pro decided to go and see the problem and kept asking the workers why multiple times to understand what was really happening. Why are you removing your glasses? Because I can't see out of them, said the worker. Why can't you see out of them? They're fogging up. Why are they fogging up? What he discovered in the end is that the facility was having high humidity, thus creating fog on the safety lenses. We didn't have the right tool for the area they worked in. Further questioning led to, why are you using so many glasses? I have to throw them away after a few days due to scratching. Why are they being scratched? Workers were wiping off their glasses with cloths and rags, causing the lenses to scratch quickly and become unwearable. The glasses were also uncomfortable, so much so that they were taken off and often left behind. The solution was to ensure the right environment was understood, and the glasses had an anti-fog coating on them. The environment may lead you to special coatings to ensure your workers are safe and not compromised. And the last one is, for the last theme, in manufacturing environments, is actually the details or little things that at times can get overlooked. We often get caught up in the norm and don't challenge ourselves to look outside of the norm to understand the opportunities that are there. We just talked about not to stop at identifying the symptoms. Keep going until you find the root cause of the problem. We were working with an automotive customer. It was discovered that some paint defects were caused by wiper lint. So engineers believed that the problem would be solved with a lint-free material. It turns out it wasn't the wiper material being lint-free. It was the manufacturing that put the perforations on the roll. The little holes caused the linting that was leading to thousands of dollars worth of paint rework each year. To correct this, the customers went to pre-cut wipers, which had no perforations. This created a lower lint level and fewer defects, which drove substantial savings in the paint shop. Guessing can be expensive. The European automotive industry estimates that reworking paint defects in the automotive industry costs them in excess of $178 million per year. As I finish up here today, I would like to leave you with 3 parting challenges that have helped me throughout my career. Number one, don't be afraid to take a fresh look at your process. A view from someone not directly associated with the process will usually lead to questions you have not heard before and can be the best continuous improvement or safety inspection that you will ever have. Secondly, listen to the pulse of your work team. Don't be afraid to ask why. This may take a couple of times to build comfort and confidence in the team, but this team works with the ins and outs of the process on a daily basis and can help to make it better. We have to listen and show actions at the appropriate times. And lastly, as leaders, our number one goal is the safety of our team and our manufacturing environments. I want everyone to go home to their families the same way they came to work, injury-free. No production is ever worth an injury to one of your team members. Thank you all for the opportunity to talk about some of the experiences we've had here at KC, and I'll turn it back over to Bill.
Thanks, Mike, and appreciate you sharing those top 10 ways in which industrial supplies can be costing our customers a lot of money. But before I talk a little bit about the resources on here, you know, walking through those points, 10 different scenarios, the way we did, what it really does is it points out to you that things that are taking place every day in your facility is an opportunity to make an improvement. Kimberly-Clark's a big organization, and we're making a lot of changes in our company as well. And just because you did something some way for the past number of years doesn't mean it's not worth taking a look at, like Mike had just said. You know, so we promised you that we would share some resources with you, which we're going to do here. And really what our goal is to kind of help you guys sit back, take a look at what your 2018 and your 2019 cost reduction goals are, and try and work as a team with you to help you hit those goals. So you don't have to go this alone. You know, the Kimberly-Clark sales team and the MSC team combined are available to go out and conduct these walks with you at your facilities. That's what we would refer to as our hazard walk, where we go in and we reference different things that we see that we're trained to look at that can help you improve your costs. If you contact your MSC rep to discuss this, they can get a hold of a KC rep and make this joint call with you. You know, we have a number of resources available for you on mscdirect.com. If you go under the Better MRO section, you'll find different things like business case studies, white papers, how to prevent accidents, you know, how to build a safety culture, as well as product identification tools that can help you choose the right product for the task. So thank you again. Please give us the opportunity to work with you to hit your goals, and you know, good luck going back into your business and taking a look at some of these things. Rebecca?
Thank you very much, Mike and Bill. Really appreciate what you partner with us on today. So my name is Rebecca Avery. I'm a Category Strategy Manager for the Safety category at MSC. And again, I just wanted to go ahead and take a moment to thank the KCP team in putting together this presentation for us today, and to re-emphasize some points that Bill and Mike had made. So like Bill was saying, there is a resource for content such as this, webinars, white papers, infographics, articles, both original content and content that we've licensed from our supplier partners like KCP, that can be found at mscdirect.com/bettermro. As a safety professional in the manufacturing industry, it's your job to ensure a safe, hazard-free work environment every day. To help with that, MSC has established our Better MRO site. And for your edification, after this, in the next couple of days actually, this webinar, along with other webinars that we've done in the past, will be available to rewatch on mscdirect.com/bettermro.